Well, just a day into the new year 2017, it also comes with a lot more of its hurdles, the challenges that we expect to have, but also the successes that we hope to achieve. But for all the things that have happened, what can we recollect? What type of commentary can we make on them? And we decided to invite two of our most important regular guests into the studio. We have Ni Adekoka. He's the chairman of NDC Greater Accra. Thanks for joining me, Ni.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
Thank you, and many happy returns to you as well. All right. Are you mourning?
No. Just, this is grey.
Grey, eh? Yes. Shade of fashion. Right. It's a Friday, so when you wear it, we tend to think the otherwise, but don't worry. Right. I love the fashion too. You look very Anogoish, very Nigerian.
That's fine.
Yes. And then also Henry Kwabnako, who is a member of parliament for Bantama. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
No. You know, there's a list going around that you've been speculated for a position as the, is it Lands and Natural Resources Ministry? I don't want to take the wind out of your sails, but let me save you the grace of commenting on that, because I'm sure it's speculative. So we'll just leave it at that.
And you know, I will surely pass no comment on that. But let me greet Nana. Yes, the president-elect.
You've done that throughout the election year.
Yeah, throughout the 4 years.
And I've loved you for that. Okay. I always know your opening statement.
Okay, thank you. I'm predictable. You can.
No, not that. The opening statement is predictable.
Okay. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia as well, and Mama Rebecca, the incoming First Lady, and Sister Samira, the Second Lady. The youngest Second Lady Ghana is to have. And then to my fellow Ghanaians, friends out there, it's a happy new year that we are hoping to usher ourselves into. Through the help of Almighty God, I know we shall live to see 2017. Yeah. And beyond, anyway.
Well, same to the viewers, a happy new year coming. And to my brother, he didn't wish me happy new year.
I wish you when you get that.
A happy new year to all, and a prosperous one.
Okay.
And a peaceful Ghana. All of us, as brothers and sisters, must live together to see Ghana strive in leaps and bounds. So, happy new year to everybody that watches us. But multimedia hasn't wished us Merry Christmas. So, your boss did not even give us a card.
You see, huh?
Exactly. So, from your make sure.
I'm sure we're just bustling in the time, you know, the elections, and have to put ourselves together for the next year.
You forgot.
Oh, well, I'm not sure it's too late.
It's never too late.
Now, let's get going, and we have to talk about what will be some of the CAF, let's say one memorable thing for you that was positive for the year, for you, Ni Adekoka.
Oh, one thing that was positive. I think everything that has happened in this country has been on the positive side of the country. So I can't really point out one singular act. But then we thank God that we are alive. I think that's a very important singular act, that we are alive and we're able to come to your programs and interact with the people of this country. The fact that we'll be given the opportunity is something that we must appreciate. Not everybody has the opportunity to come and sit here during the week, sometime during the week, and share our views and also learn from our viewers. So I think these are things that you could say that have shaped our life as we go on to serve the nation. So you couldn't pinpoint one singular act, but everything that we do is by the grace of God.
Yes, sir. Now, what's one positive thing you take out of the year, or perhaps you can make mention of for the year?
Yeah, our lives in general. I mean, the opportunity to live and to go about our duties in peace, in freedom, without fear or favor. And that is the divine thing that we have, God-given opportunities. However, we cannot discount the numerous mishaps and all those things that are associated with all that God has given us. The most singular thing I want us to put our minds to and then thank God fervently for will be the peaceful elections that we've been able to go through 2016. And the fact that the people's choice have been respected and that Ghana is set to move forward. A change of government necessarily must come with a change of attitude and the way we relate to one another, and then the way we relate to public service and discharge duties in areas of authorities. So it's a good thing that Ghana have gone to the polls and have decided. Ghana have decided in a very peaceful, generally very peaceful manner. That is the one major good thing I think this year has brought to the people of Ghana.
So, Mr. Nyadekuka, we went to the polls, and you should say the electioneering in itself, in terms of the campaign and the activities, were generally the way we expected it to be, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Ghana has come a long way, and it's important that within the West African community and beyond, we are seen as a beacon of democracy. And this is what we have been all along. We are able to go to the polls and hand over power to another party. This was the first time. We've done it 2001. We did it 2008. We've done it 2016. So every Ghanaian must be happy. Other countries go to the polls, and by the time they say Jack, people are running helter-skelter, leaving the country. But here people are coming in. So even though we had different ideas and we joy outside was even peaceful. Well, there were a few skirmishes here and there. That is natural. I mean, in a human institution, naturally, you find some people who go wayward. But the overall picture is very positive. And the victor and the vanquished were able to, at least at the highest level, send a signal out that we have finished the election, we must come together as one people, a common destiny, and move on. And that's exactly what is happening. Even though the electoral commission is still here and there, I think we can pat ourselves on the back and say that we've done well as a nation, as a people. With diversity, we've been able to come together at the final hour. So we must be proud of ourselves, and I hope we'll continue. And I hope that the government coming in, the incoming government, will follow on the same trail. So that, like my brother said, we live in a peaceful society. This is when I saw him. I didn't give a blow to him, neither did he give a blow to me. But we all gave appellations, and we started chatting, and we are here we are. We can agree to disagree. But that doesn't mean that we should go out there holding cutlasses and sticks, wanting to beat each other to the pulp. So that is what I would say, that we've gone through an election, so we are maturing. And the democracies all over the Western Hemisphere, elections peacefully, they hand over and they move on. And that is what we should do in the coming months and years. Even though we will still hold them to account for their stewardship, we will be vigilant, we will have our checklist, and so it is prudent and it's important for them to really fulfill what they told us that the people chose to vote for them. So I think Ghanaians in 2016, tomorrow will be the last day of the year, and we're all going to cross over. Some are going to jump over, some are going to cross over, some are going to be knocked over, and then we will see what is beyond us in 2017. The Hamatan has come,
yes,
as usual.
It's affected all of us, our voice. But life must go on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But we saw an election in which the strategy seemed to be improving from the first time we came into the First Republic and the election we convened. We seem to be developing as parties and as entities, whether civil society, as media, etc., with the strategies by which we conduct the election. We undertake the election. We try to reach out to people, whether it's even the media coverage, etc. What can you say about that? How far have we evolved?
Yes, we've traversed through series of reforms so far as our electoral processes are concerned. And I think we need to give credit or credence to civil society having come of age and having been able to accept the challenge to, as it were, partake in the activities of our electoral processes. In most cases, we had limited electioneering processes to the day of elections alone, but experiences and whatever have taught all of us that we need to begin from the very scratch. The processes of preparation, the legalities and all those things and all that. And what happened in 2013 at the Supreme Court, presidential petition, have contributed immensely to opening up the frontiers and raising the horizon of our thinking and understanding of electoral processes from the very beginning, the preparatory stages, to the day of elections itself, voting, and then managing the post-elections programs and all that. So this is about the first time we've had all stakeholders wanting to have a piece of the pie. We've had the court system, the judiciary, actually expediting action in electoral disputes and conflicts here and there, and giving judgments that are almost always in tune with the thinking of the general the majority of this country. Civil society organizations like IEA, IDEC, and co, and then the strengthening of the IPAC itself, and on individual political stages, we've had pressure groups like AFAC. We've had Let My Vote Count, young men and women who were so outspoken, very gallantly wanting to put out there what they think are things that needed to be looked at, and reforms that needed to be also carried out. And then equally, we had a responsive electoral commission that was always being prompted to look at this and that and let's move on. I must admit that I wasn't too much enthused with electoral commission programs and processes from the very beginning and all that, but under pressure, under positive pressure, and under some kind of dialogue and good reasoning, we were able to bring all of us ourselves into a line as to what really we wanted. All we needed was a transparent, free and fair elections, and we arrived at that. It did not come by itself. There have been a lot of efforts put in out there. I've recounted the role played by the civil society organizations. I've recounted the role played by pressure groups, both from political angle and from the general public angle, and then also the Electoral Commission itself, also availing itself the opportunity and then the chance to be dialogued with. And most appropriately, the judicial services have done yeoman's job. The Chief Justice and her crew have stood up to the test, and they were able to give clear, unambiguous. Sometimes people find that most of the rulings being ambiguous, but in further explanations and interpretations, you can see most of their rulings were unambiguous as they were, and carrying them out improved the system as to this point. We still need to move forward, and we still have work to do or some work to be done if we are going to reach out to the ultimate. And let us say, for once, we've beaten America to it. America went for their general elections, and right after declaration, people were on the street, and I learned they were doing some recounting in some states or somewhere else. Ghana have finished, and it's finished. Declaration have been made. So for the first time, we are first. We are ahead of US when it comes to electoral process. That does not mean we should rest on our oars. There are a lot more finishing touches to be made, and together with our brothers in the opposition, we should present to the people of Ghana a very comprehensive program that will once and for all will eliminate most of the avoidable mistakes and trappings within our electoral processes and systems. And so I'm happy my brother said they're going to be vigilant, they're going to be on their feet, they're going to put the government on its toes. And that is perfect. That is the work of a responsible, constructively oriented opposition. That one Ghanaians expect from them. And we will also be happy, and now Danko Akufo-Addo's government will be very, very happy to have a vibrant, constructively and articulated criticism coming about, so we can improve upon whatever we do as a people and as a government. The contract is between the governor and the governed. The governed have done their part of the job by voting you into office, and they've done it unanimously, or if you like, in a landslide manner. 1 million and over votes difference tells a whole lot of story. It tells you how people expect so much from you. The Bible says, to whom much has been given, much is expected. And that is always on the mind of the president-elect and his incoming government, that people of Ghana expect us to excel. Of course, it's time, it's timing, and all those things, but they expect us to excel. So we will surely have no option than to serve the people of Ghana.
Mr. Kuka, for the electioneering, you the political parties, what kind of strategies do you put in place? And for all the strategy you put in place, what are some of the key factors you consider in trying to rally your strategies around?
You know, we had a strategy of informing the people of this country of the good things that we've done, the development that has taken place under our governance, the infrastructural development, the things that were not the benefit of the people, right? Without schools, when your children are of school age, they will sit in the house. Without hospitals, when we are sick, we can't go, there's nowhere to go to. Without good roads, you end up always having to go to the mechanic to fix your vehicles, right? That is what we went out telling people that if you take stock of Ghana in the last 8 years and going backwards, compared to what we have done within the last 8 years, you can see a lot of change that has come there, and we will have transformed the lives of many people. What the Ghanaians said no, what they want is they want money in their pockets. How are they feeling as individuals? We thought the collective was what we should be thinking about. But when you take individuals alone, then the country is going to be in a state of chaos. If I haven't gotten it, I must take it from you. You look at that individual posture. So the strategy was that, look, we need to put up an enabling environment, which we have created, which anybody coming on now will have the benefit of that. And people did not actually buy into it, because there were the extenuating factors, like I said earlier on. Some people feel that their pocket was not full enough, so they said that, well, the other party said, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, so they bought into it. Fair enough, the people have spoken, and then we have to live by it. And then that is why we are now going back. You realize that we have even formed a 13-man committee led by Professor Kwesi Botwe, to find out whether our message sorry, was right or wrong. Why didn't the people of this country accept the message? What were the extenuating factors, both internally and externally, within the party? Right. So we are going to take a retrospective and introspective effect of what has happened. And going forward, we would then have to... I was saying that, look, the middle class of this country has really grown up within the past 8 years. I keep saying that when you're on the roads, you see all this traffic jam. Where are they going? They are the middle class who have emerged. So if you don't have a message for the middle class, and you only have a message for your so-called foot soldiers, and you leave the middle class, you have a problem. I think we didn't have enough message. The middle class are looking for tax cuts. The middle class are looking for sending their children to school free. The middle class and the people, the foot soldiers, are looking for $1 million to develop their constituency. We thought we had the district assemblies in place who are capable of doing all those things. So the swan song was sweet to them. They did not believe in even though they said that we've done well by providing infrastructure. They are claiming that the infrastructure was not giving them food. So our strategy was that infrastructure, to enable you to put money in your pocket. They believe that they want the money in their pocket first before they look at infrastructure.
How do you think that the refrain of having a cycle of 8 years for each government seemed to have also permeated the minds or the thinking of the electorate, and perhaps also kind of become a baggage when you're communicating?
It is a baggage. When you've been in power for 8 years, the evidence shows that when it has happened before, and in other countries too, it happens. And Ghanaians are discerning. They read what happens outside our shores. So that 8-year syndrome is very, very critical. And I read that whatever you have done within the 8 years, Ghanaians will naturally say, oh, let's change. Because if you see somebody's face for a very long time, you are bound to have it's bound to have some effect. I mean, naturally, Charlie, to move on, let this people come and see it. But the danger is the try and error factor that sometimes permeates into the system. But we believe that our brothers are capable of fulfilling their promise. So there will be no trial and error, and there will be continuity. But you must take cognizance of the fact that, yes, the 8 years syndrome is there. And you must be very, very, you must probably have done something extraordinary. Probably, if when the people, I watched a program on one of the...
Well, you did something more than just ordinary. I mean, there are visible infrastructure for us to see.
But you see that what they want was to put money in their pocket. And I was watching a program in one of on these international networks, and they said that, look, you cannot think for the electorate. You cannot think for them. You must do what the electorate wants. And it was very pertinent, right? He said you can, because you would think that what you are doing, the medicine you are giving them is
the antidote for
exactly.
their ailment.
But no, they are saying that we want money in our pocket. So create the situation that you make sure that they get money in their pocket.
This is a diagnosis where they prescribe their own cure.
Exactly. That you cannot give them the cure.
The 8-year cycle. Okay.
Exactly. So you be hit with what the electorate want. So if we come and tell them, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do this for you, and the other party is saying, I'm building. Well, for the human, I'll be happy to have my electricity cut to zero. I'll be happy, and that we in Ghana cherish in having things done for free.
Are we going to have the electricity being cut? Is that what was promised?
Well, they said they'll bring the utility prices down.
Yeah, you see, For us in the New Patriotic Party, strategies into the elections were simple. In any electioneering program that you go, you have three basic things to rely on. The candidate that you put in forward, your message, and then logistics. So we went into these elections with these three electoral fortunes. So how do you combine them, you harness them, and then you make sure they produce the result that you want. So we had a candidate in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who have been presented 2 times to the people of Ghana, and this third time around, we were able to, as it were, put forward his qualities, his abilities and capabilities. And we presented Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as being an incorruptible personality, somebody who comes to, who want to come into government with that kind of thinking, fighting corruption, and then by leading in the crusade by himself as an individual and as the leader of government. Then again, we were able to, the little resources that we had, the logistics that we had, we did not have much. We stayed in opposition and all that. So we were able to cut costs and then make sure the campaign was carried to the real targeted group. And that was with the people out there. We couched a message that resonated well with the people of Ghana. And indeed, the practicality of life situation, the standard of living, the businesses that's going on, and all kinds of things, that social life, economic life, the natural resource management, and all kinds of things that makes the economy as a whole. We knew the challenges, and we tried to find solutions for them, not on the table, on the drawing table alone. We reached out to the people and listened to them, and then sometimes we even solicited some of the solutions they anticipate. When you take the candidate, the leader, he was able to think through deeper in there to find a team that will buy into whatever visions and aspirations that he puts forward. So he once again picked on Dr. Bawumia as the vice president, an old face as usual, a young, exuberant, intelligent man who understands the topic of economics, finances, and all kinds of things. So, and he has been groomed over the years into a fine politician who will actually catch the eye of the ordinary voter out there, a youthful one as such. Then finding a campaign manager. You reckon that Peter McMahon had been the national chairman in 2008 when we went into the election. So we had these three faces: Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself, Dr. Bawumia, and then Dr. Peter McMahon leading the onslaught, and we lost the elections. The third time around, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in his own deep subconscious thinking, thought the group must come back again. So he picked on Peter McMahon once again as the campaign manager, and the trio crafted what needed for a campaign message. So Peter McMahon had informed us and told us that this time around the campaign is going to be one of a retail campaigning. Most of us did not understand the concept, but he took time and trouble to explain that you have a retailer, you have a commodity, and that you want to market. You need to present it in a way to the prospective buyer that to be
you need
attractive.
to be able to espouse the values,
Exactly.
the attributes of the product.
Exactly. So that was it.
For the targeted market.
Exactly. Then
Yes.
you reach out to them and all that.
So that's what you did.
Exactly so. And we had a two-pole approach, and that was very, very invisible. People did not actually see through it. We had Madame Rebecca, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, teaming up with young, exuberant lady Samira, capturing the women folk, the center. And they reached out to the women in the marketplaces and the churches everywhere Then we had Samia Uku and his gang, I mean his group, the commander, the youth commander, they call him. He also capturing the attention of the youth. So in between, women and youth, we all of us swam in between, and we worked on people's aspirations. Governance is about for the people. All you does, whatever, infrastructure, whatever, there must be a linkage of what you put out there with the improvement of life of the people. You don't put a school there and there's a missing link between the beneficiary. What does it mean? It means that purchasing power, the ability to assess and to assess for services of that particular infrastructure must always be there. If you put it there and the person cannot afford to take advantage of what is there, it becomes a white elephant. And at the end of the day, it becomes a wastage or a waste investment. It does not reflect on the life of the person or the people that you're so doing for. And that is going through their problems, and I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to, you said, you're going to look into why you got defeated?
No, why the message did not go there.
Why the message? So, yeah. So I'm proffering a free consultancy services. There was a missing link between what you think you've done and then what you're telling the people. The people of Ghana, and as such, all people under governance will want to see a change in their lifestyle through whatever programs, policies that you put in place. And there is a book that is policies that work. There are a lot of policies out there that does not work. Or even if it does work, it does not meet the original intent and purposes. They are they are not fit for the purpose. So it becomes defeatist. It becomes something that is not actually felt. So for us in New Patriotic Party, I've heard over and over and over that promises were given and all those things. We are here, 2008. You people promised people of Ghana better Ghana agenda. We're going to human people first and all the kinds of things and all that. So you failed on those promises, and having gotten so much money, having borrowed so much,
don't you think
on the national coffers, and you wanted a way out there, and you said, look at the infrastructure.
We've passed the campaigning. It's okay.
Oh, of course, yes.
We are the campaigning period. All the things about debt and all that.
We are doing post-mortem.
Let me chip something in here. Right. Most of our supporters did not come out to vote for one reason or the other, which we know. There was apathy in some places.
You knew there was apathy?
Exactly. Well, we're doing outreach programs. One of the outreach projects, you even asked me whether I was chased in Nima or something. You remember those days? So we knew that there was apathy. How to get that apathy turned around, right, became a problem. So we thought there would be an enthusiasm that we will. So it's not that
the final onslaught. You thought
our promises were met. What we decided to do for this country substantially is evidential there.
Yeah.
What we are saying is that at the end of the day, like you said, was it reflecting the pocket of the people? And we said we are creating an enable environment for you to take advantage of. You see, no government can get up and put money in anybody's pocket.
Yeah, but when they see corruptive tendencies, they see pure corruption.
Well,
they see public money is being thrown here and there, and the people are aware, and they are looking at it.
My brother,
you think they will be happy?
My brother, if we are going to talk about corruption,
yes.
I remember a president who said that he would not expose his people so that to bring down this government.
And Ghana voted against
in our government, the president made sure that when these things were brought his attention, he dealt with it.
And the people of Ghana said no.
Exactly.
It was not a proper way of preventive measure. How do you prevent as a government? How do you prevent
that is why,
protect the
that is
the
why
public
now
that
the people have given you the mandate.
And that is why we rejected food and cash at the transition team. We said no, we are not going to spend that much more money again.
Let me come there. Professor Mills's time, the same thing was that.
No, we took tea for 10, what about 1 billion, 2 billion? Oh, don't let us go there. The records are there, and they know. The people of Ghana know. The transition team, tea alone.
That's the campaign. Relax.
It's not campaign. We are doing post-mortem.
We've done election. You have won.
was part of the transition.
No, I'm helping you.
I was part of the transitional team at that time. We didn't collect any allowance. But
the bill was there.
As for the tea and the lunch,
somebody put 10% on it.
Naturally, when you go for such meetings a whole day, are you telling me that you won't eat or you won't drink water?
At that cost?
No, I'm saying that
that's all right, but
let's look at it. Let's put the cost down.
No, that is what is interesting.
I'm coming.
That is what the people are interested in.
I'm asking a pertinent question. When you go to such meetings, wouldn't you drink water?
Okay, let me answer you.
It's not up for discussion. The transition team is not for discussion.
Let me answer you. Please. You eat all right. So we brought in our own food and we brought in our own drink.
Let me finish, my brother. Let me finish. Oh, we've had a very decent conversation.
Yes, we continue.
The politics is over.
It's not politics. You know, so if they say governance, if they say they will carry their food to the transition and eat, fine. But I feel these are gimmicks.
Oh,
they are gimmicks. Let's move on. We've passed this stage. You passed this stage. Please. You passed this.
The point has been made.
There was this also in the campaign strategy. You know, the media, as powerful as the media is, it will be wrong on the part of any campaigner to assume some section of the media as being your own, and then the rest being antagonistic or something. I remember the president himself coming out openly to, as it were, attack some section of the media, calling them a cabal, wanting to block his messages and all those. And for me, I felt it was one below the belt. And I was happy when the president came out with that kind of, if it is not accusation, maybe that statement. Because it clearly sets the media into and we had a strategy of accommodating almost everybody, and as much as we may,
it was not always very smooth. You had problems with presenters on NEET FM, and a couple of them. So you can't always say that. Political parties tend to have difficulties with the media.
No, let me correct that impression.
But you are saying you were more receptive.
When you were more receptive. When we even have a cause to suspect or doubt, we come out openly and then confront one another and we dialogue. Then at the end of the day, it's settled. And you need not be my friend for us to work on an issue or a project. We don't have to be too much of a friend. I mean, we need to be working partners. We need to be doing our respective roles without fear or favor. That is all. So, on the average, we were a little bit media accommodating. And
media friendly.
Media friendly, yes. And my brother knows it. Well, so that was one of the...
Well, both of you come to the studio. Exactly. But one criticism that's also panned along was that the NDC generally, you look at some sections of the communication and the responses and the messaging in the media didn't look like your campaign was friendly.
No, so let me tell you, sir, NDC for so many years have had problems with a section of the media. And it's a fact that you cannot run away from.
Why?
Well, some people we perceive some of the media houses pursuing a regime change agenda.
You mean within the period of the electionary?
No, within a certain period of time. That was why the president came out to say that his messages were being kept out of the system. And one of the people that had problem was multimedia. They had a lot of problems with multimedia.
They were regime changes.
Yeah, they were regime changes.
You mean us?
Yeah, you were regime changes.
Okay, but you're always on the media. So.
But naturally, that doesn't mean we should boycott your station. We will try as much as possible to come and counter and make sure that our message is gone out. So the president coming out to make that statement is the fact that he really saw that there was something going on. right? So, moving forward, like you said, the election is over. Moving forward is how are we positioning this country beyond 2017? So we've given the mandate. So I believe that we should all look forward to 2017 and beyond. So I think we've passed that stage.
Okay.
Let us all strive to ensure that in all that we do, Ghana first. That's what.
We're still, and for the year, looking at some of the issues in the political arena. But let's watch this. The president, in this very soundbite.
In the next few weeks, we'll announce new measures to tighten the system, to ensure more transparency and make corruption more difficult to undertake. And it is my hope that I can count on your support in the difficult fight against corruption. Recently, a few of my comrades have questioned my ability to fight corruption. I dare say they don't know me well. For those who disagree with me and are anxious to see my back, not to worry, 2016 is not too far away. I'll urge them to be patient. In this difficult job, the least one expects is comradeship and solidarity.
What do you make of that soundbite?
Well, people felt he was not cracking the whip at that time.
Was he?
He reckons he was cracking the whip. But for instance, when this was the time when the national service problem broke out, and he was the one who even initiated the investigations, like he said. But you see, I don't know whether people wanted us to use the era where government flout the law and then go beyond the law and act with impunity.
Some level of martial law.
Exactly. But we're working in a democracy.
We call it rule of law.
Rule of law. Exactly.
You have to go to court.
Exactly.
And there are good lawyers around.
Exactly.
They'll turn the law around for you.
My brother here is a lawyer. They know how to maneuver their way through the system.
Yes.
Right?
Legally.
And fair. You see, there was an era where within 24 hours, they wouldn't even listen to you.
You could be rounded up.
And rounded up and dealt with.
Nobody will see you.
No.
Until you appear 30 days time.
And we were also the people who were demonstrating against that kind of that culture. So what did we want? Did we want the rule of law, or we wanted the impunity that the system will bring up? So you had a deadline. That is why he says that, well, he was doing what is necessary to curb the perceived corruption that was being attributed to his government. And people were taken to court, people were dealt with. The famous case was the Wyoming one, where everybody think that the president should just walk in and collect the money from Wyoming, which was not possible. Because like my brother friend here will say, I'm not a learned man, so I couldn't call him a learned friend, but I can say my brother friend here knows that you cannot do that. The candidate, the person being prosecuted was also using the law, making sure that he takes advantage of whatever the law says. And so people were expecting to go and collect the money, which was not feasible. And that was one of the things that people were accusing him of, not going to collect the money for the people. So I keep saying fast tracking. Before learning our lessons, I hope the incoming government will also make sure that what it has.
The other thing was that they said your party didn't use experienced people in governance.
Experienced people?
I don't know whether you... Have you heard it before?
I've heard it several times.
Oh, okay.
I've heard it several times.
But what role did you play in your government, apart from being a chairman?
Apart from me,
you are very experienced man.
Yeah, the chairman has got certain role that he plays. That is managing the region.
Oh, okay.
I'm not part of government, but I can profess as an idea or a suggestion to a problem. And most of the time when we come here, when you point out something that is not appropriate, we just don't go and defend it. We talk about it. I remember coming to sit here and talking about something. When I left the studio, the number of calls that I had, right, people thought I had spoken wrongly. But I thought what I was saying was the correct thing. So you have people differing with you on matters.
Even on the same platform, let's say the party.
Exactly.
Okay.
So or you can do your best, but the ultimate power or authority lies with the president. And you heard him that he claimed that, and it's a fact too, that he did what is humanly possible to ensure that the allegations that were being leveled at him were either investigated, and when he found that there's something untoward, he dealt with it.
Yeah, you see, listen to the soundbite, and even though it's been taken out of context, it was
a response to?
Yeah, a response to a particular concern, and that was coming from criticisms from people like Honorable Abambabin, a key member of the NDC government and a key member of the party, to the extent that he felt there was something so fundamentally wrong with the running administration of the country. And don't forget about Honorable Martin Amidu, when he was the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, coming out openly to talk about gargantuan corruption going on. So there was an uproar, an internal display of displeasure as to the president's effort in running the economy, particularly fighting corruption. So he came out there and he predicted his exit at that time. It was a prediction of his exit in 2016.
In the inset?
Yeah, you can play it back. He said, those who want to see my back, they can wait. 2016 is not far. It will soon come. And here we are, 2016 is gone. So he perpetually...
You think he was prophetic?
Yeah, of course, at that point. he was possessed with some kind of spirituality. and he predicted his own exit.
No.
You see, the fight against corruption that they're talking about, they are in court and all that. The first thing to do, and the medics will tell you, is about prevention, preventive measures.
The laws are there.
Please. Yes, I know.
You are a human institution.
I know. You know the laws are there to prevent. First, to prevent.
Yes.
The first thing why the procurement law is there is to prevent the occurrence of the crime of corruption. When you fail to use that law, when you fail to use policies.
How was it not used?
Well, that is why we are where we are. How would a government want to pay Wyoming that sum when the president, the then sitting president himself have sanctioned against? They claim the president said it was not to be paid. When the same court, you are relying on court order, the court says don't pay full, pay him 17 million, and by the time you finish with the case, if he had won, then the remainder will be paid to him. If he loses the case, then he will refund that amount. You go from court and do a contrary thing, a different thing, and now you get back to court and say, I'm fighting.
But what you mean is it's a baggage from the first term.
First term
of the NDC administration.
Yes, of course.
It's a baggage.
And that is one major problem.
It's not necessarily a John Mahama.
No. Don't get it wrong. It is one of the major reasons why they themselves, most of their supporters, whether they refuse to vote as he's saying, or they voted against them. Because you look at the NDC and you cannot discount the Rawlings factor. You cannot discount the Atamels factor. And they ran a campaign that actually they did not recognize Atamel's regime. They would tell you, "Oh, we are in government since 2013."
Well, they had a certain difficulty. There was the 8-year syndrome. So
yeah. They wanted to run away.
You were campaigning that the NDC had 8 years.
Yes,
so
of course.
Good amount.
Yes.
So they also wanted to show that the John Mahama-led government had that only 4 years.
So they were running away from the reality, because the day we lost our president and the then vice president Mahama was ushered into office.
I remember it was in July, wasn't it?
Yes, he was ushered into office. He told the whole world, the whole nation, that I have been the most luckiest vice president. I had been in charge of everything. I was the chairman here, I was the chairman there. I was running the show. The president so trusted me, so he entrusted everything to me. And he did time, about 4-6 months, to complete the term. So how can you run away from whatever? And they will be quick to go back to take a credit from there. But when it comes to a negativity, then they want to run away from. And that was deficient in their campaign strategy.
How do you think the subject of the power cuts of course, ultimately resolved somewhat or largely.
Yeah.
Perhaps was also on the mind of people because we're told it had many faults. Domestically, people were feeling it, and then it had impact on industry.
Exactly.
And ultimately the economy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some few years back when we were having the power crisis, I remember very well in this same studio, so the nemesis of NDC in 2016 will be the power crisis. So the government took tremendous effort to ensure that the crisis was resolved. We all agree that after the crisis has been resolved, along the line there have been casualties. People have really suffered. And you know, for this time around, one would say that Ghanaians don't have short memory. The people realized these are some of the factors that we have to look into. How did that really affect our fortunes, right? So that's one of the reasons we put up this 30-man committee to go into these areas. And naturally, there will be a collateral effect. One cannot run away from it. Somebody must be very angry that for the 2 years or so, he or she has been sleeping in darkness. His business somewhere had collapsed. He will not forgive you because if he doesn't understand that this did not start only yesterday.
So you as party people, you were picking some of these things from the ground.
Oh, well, we're picking
only that you are trying to counter them.
And that was why the government made all the effort to ensure that that thing was resolved.
Has it been resolved?
Well, so far you are saying for the past three months or so, I mean, power has been.
I think it's been more than 3 months.
More than 3 months. We are having power. The power is constant. I don't know. Occasionally there might be a trip here or there, but then we are having power. And I think that that's one of the things that we have done. The capacity has increased. We can even export. And with this E&I fields all coming into play, and all the gas stations, electrical, what do you call it, power plants that have been put in place. Well, we are positioned the country in a better position for our brothers to take advantage of.
No. You see, this power thing. We need to have a very, very comprehensive
assessment.
Assessment.
You think it's still a problem?
It's still a problem.
In what sense?
Oh, please. It's still a problem. Except have predicted that
the think tank.
Yeah, the think tank that within the next 3 months we may be going back to it. You see.
But we need to buy fuel. If we buy fuel,
exactly.
Yes.
Please let me come. You see, we need to know why this thing happened in 2012, mid-2012. It happened in 2012, and there are three folds to it. It is about the supply system, the sustainable and constant supply, and two, the reliability and stability in the supply.
Reliability and stability.
Yes. You have power, right? 2 minutes is off, then 3 minutes it comes and all that. It cannot be relied on. And then three, the cost effective, the tariffs. How affordable are they?
Are you going to reduce it?
I'm coming. When you go to 2009 budget estimate, I've been talking about this statement. 2009 budget estimate, page 92 of that, paragraph 405 up to paragraph 430. 2009 budget estimate. That was
by Dr. Kwabena.
Yes, yes, because it is so clear and unambiguous as to the state of our energy situation when NDC took over power. And he made a promise that going forward, we are going to add on to what is there so we can reach out to 5,000 megawatts and we will not experience any power outages any longer. That was there, clear. We is coming on board, this is coming on board. So the question to be asked is, 2009, there wasn't this crisis. 2010, there wasn't. 11, there wasn't. Then 2012, it emerged. So what went wrong between that transient period? That is what we need to probe into. That is what we need to look at and see, so that going forward, we will be guided by that sad experience. So now,
are you going to reduce the power tariffs?
Yeah, we will look at it critically. You know, as we speak today, we are importing power from Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is producing thermal power at 9 cents
So how
per
much would you produce?
kilomegawatt.
Now we finished with the election.
No. So he said
the message, change the message. Now you are
the message
you
is
are
changed.
incoming. So
yes, the message is changed.
Now that message will come.
We were clear in our manifesto that it borders down to funding. VRA is owing.
After your win, have you put together a communication committee to look at the messages now you need to be?
Yes, of course. By the time Nana swears in, you prove.
Okay. We have to end the conversation though.
Yes.
And I have to say thank you for all of you. You've been very instrumental. And I'll say that you also helped the party get what it did. And I hope that your party recognizes your good efforts, because you were very receptive.
Yeah.
Even though you said that we were regime changers, we're not. Yeah. And then I have to thank you also. I hope that you also rewarded for your good efforts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And particularly for stopping the 1 million Ashanti votes. And then
you also were part of stopping it.
Yeah, stopping it and then predicting that.
I thought your chairman general was Chairman Wuntumi.
I'm part. So
all right. So
he was the leader.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Mike Aglevo. You are in Aplau, and I wish you a good morning. I hope that you also tune in to Joy News this morning, and you've watched us throughout the period. But we have to bring you a lot more. I've had in the studio, Nia Dekoka is the chairman of NDC Greater Accra, and also Henry Kwabna Kukufu is also the member of parliament for Bantama. Okay, so we have to take a break, and we will be back with a lot more here.
Then so nye den ya be kofom be ka na kofom
Ni nyina wo se wantra
ni nya na nantia ye ya aboa no oba no so ehu se ye so ye di nechi eta nechi dindende
Mami Ata medase.
Medase.
So that's Mami Ata. Mami Ata giving us a description of what we can take. For example, you even come here, you want coconut. You can get coconut here. And you come in, you walk in a long period, you can get coconut. Where? How much is this?
1 cedi.
How much?
1 cedi.
Oh, okay, so just 1 cedi. Let me see, I can take the rest of the stuff. This is good. Now you go forward. That is all you are working. This is a description of what you can do when you are coming to the market. You know, we have the main areas that you can go. You get all the wares that you want. You have vegetables. We have, for example, good cabbage. And what are we talking? Okay.
But you know 5 cities.
5 cities. Hey, you never know about you.
But you say cabbage body.
Sir, Edientra.
I say binyo.
Oh, nansa ka binim sanka bronya yi nka ye nyina ye di bronya nanka mu nyina maboa yen na ayi ebo no na bafom.
This time no so toy pa so no to san so na ese no. Dan to sanka so no betimi ate beba no. Ba fa kwa ye twa we ni fe so ni timi nti wo.
Nti we no mu di free he cabbage mu ko twa free.
Bia na ba bia di free. Ebi free so manya, ebi free Kumasi, ebi free bono memu ho no. Ba bia se ho no dia na sa. Ba potam mu ase se koto bodom. Ha wo na di free ba.
What about them Bankrana?
Oh, that be brought half origin.
Abono. Now, sana say, oh, yeah, 5 cities I am for tossel.
Oh, I'm to say, we are boarding. A be one on 9 and 5 cities. If you are 2 cities, 1 city 50 pesos. So.